Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our fixture against Manchester City this weekend. And if we can start off with Alan Irwin from Sky Sports, please.
Yeah, hi Rafa, are you okay?
Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, fine, thank you.
Good. I know it's always difficult after an international break where you've had so many players away, but how's your squad looking ahead of the weekend? Are we likely to see the likes of Decore, Gomez, Mina, and what's the progress on Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
To be fair, all of them, they are progressing well, but no ready yet, sorry. But the squad is fine, so the training session has been quite intense, so everybody was quite positive, and we know that we will play against a good team, but we have confidence that we can do well. So our last game against Tottenham, the team shows character, shows the right mentality, and it's what we have to do in every game.
It's a shame, isn't it, that you've still got so many players missing, because this is probably the most difficult fixture of the season against the champions. I'm sure you see it that way. I know every Premier League game is difficult, but you need everybody to be at their best, don't you, to produce the goods against Manchester City?
Yeah, sometimes you can manage the injuries, but when you have a metatarsal or you have a knee problem, or you have players that they have had injuries in the past and they have re-injuries, it's just to be sure that you try to bring them back as soon as possible and then safe at the same time. And it's what we have to do now. So the team is starting really well. We miss some players and we have some issues. Hopefully these players coming back will give us a boost, and then we'll have a team stronger for the rest of the first part of the season, and especially for the second part of the season.
If you do get the results, what would that do in terms of, you use the word boost, do the squad need that confidence boost? Because it would be quite something to win there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think all the teams in the world, they need the results and to get some confidence. So for us, the fact that we did well in the last one, in terms of the intensity, the commitment of the players, the desire until the last minute, so for me it's quite positive. And we did it in a lot of games, and especially at Goodison Park, we did really well. So I expect that the team can get results, and then if it's the first one, it will be easy for me to motivate the players for the next ones.
Just wondering, when you go on a run, as you're on now, 5 games without a win, do you want to try and do things differently, or do you have a desire to do that?
Yeah, no, we have changed a lot of things. Depending on the games, we adapt things, but at the end of the day, you have a squad and you cannot invent anything. So you have to manage the players that you have. You have to try to be sure that you get the best from the players available, and it's what we are trying to do. The other day against Tottenham, we changed a little bit. If we need to change against Manchester City, we will do it, trying to be sure that the players that we have now available, they can give us 100%.
Fabian Delph certainly impressed against Tottenham. It was his first start in almost a year as well. He's up against his former club on Sunday. Has he got a big role to play now?
Yeah, I hope so. I think he has the right mentality, the right attitude. He wants to play every game. I have to stop him in the training session because he's pushing very hard. So that is the right attitude that you are expecting from any player. So we have seen situations in the past that maybe we're giving up too early, and then we have to be sure that we cannot do that. And we did it this year against Southampton. We did it against Burnley. We did it against a lot of teams this year, that we saw the mentality, that character that we are looking for, and hopefully we can keep these things like we did against Tottenham for the rest of the season.
And just finally from me, Rafa, I know you really know Steven Gerrard very well, of course. He's back in the Premier League as a manager. Are you pleased to see him as a manager in the Premier League, and how do you think he'll fare in this difficult league?
It's always bad to see a manager lose his job, and also it's good to see a new manager. So I wish him all the best, apart from our game for sure. And that's it. I think so he will have plenty of time to show his level, and hopefully we can do well against them, and then we can show our level too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Alan. We'll go to Damien Johnson, please, at Premier League Productions.
Hello, Rafa. You mentioned the injuries with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Doucouré in particular. Is there any time frame on when we might see them back in action?
Each one is different. I said before they are getting better, but it's just you have to be sure that you have to be 100% sure that they are fine. And Doucouré is a metatarsal injury, so that is something that has a frame time because you have the bone and then it has to heal. So I think 1 week, 2 weeks maximum, he can be fine if we don't have any problems. Dominic, at least 2 or 3 weeks we have to wait because he's progressing well, but still he needs some time.
With Manchester City, they've played with a false 9 this season, and yet still they get plenty of goals. What kind of challenges does that pose you, facing a team that doesn't have an out-and-out striker?
It doesn't matter the system that they play. They have so many good players on the pitch that they can play with the wingers and the strikers, and still they will be very dangerous. So we are talking about a team that is one of the biggest in terms of spending in the world now. So they play very good football. They spend a lot of money in very good players. They have a good manager. So they have everything to be successful, and it's a big challenge. It doesn't matter the system. So we know that, and our players, they know that. So hopefully we can be ready.
How worried are you about the current Everton run? It's 5 now without a win in the Premier League. Must be concerning for you.
Yeah, you are not happy if you are not winning, but I have a lot of confidence in the team and I have a lot of confidence in the staff. So I think that we will do better, and if we have all the players available, I'm sure that we can start winning games, and we have plenty of time to do well, and I am convinced that we will do well, especially what I say in the second part of the league, because these players that has been injured, hopefully they will be available, and it will be easier for me to make a decision in terms of systems, in terms of changing something during the game. So when you have more players available and players with quality, it's always easier for the manager.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Damien. We'll go to Alistair McGowan, please, at the BBC.
Hi, Rafa.
Hi.
Just wanted to ask you a quick question about Gerrard. Did you always think he would make a good manager when he played under you at Liverpool?
I think he was a great player. He liked football, and he likes football. So hopefully he will be a good manager. But I would say, hopefully we can win against them, and then we can talk about other things.
You mentioned obviously injuries has been a big talking point. I think the head of medical services, Danny Donachie, left within the last week. I just wondered if you could explain why that was.
Yeah, I can confirm that. So we try to manage the department in another way, and I wish Danny all the best.
Was that to do with Everton's injury record this season?
No, it's just to be sure that I said before, we want to improve every department, and then the way that we want to do things maybe is a little bit different. That's it. Nothing different.
And you mentioned now, I remember you saying that you wanted to change things in a lot of departments. How far along that road are you? How long is there still to go until you're happy that everything's changed to how you want it?
Yeah, from the beginning I was impressed with the attitude of the staff. Everybody was trying to help, was trying to improve things. Then different managers has different visions, so we are trying to do that. But the main thing for me is the communication. So we can communicate with everyone. We are talking with everyone in every department, and I'm happy with the things that I am seeing at the moment. And hopefully we can adjust things little by little. But we are progressing, and I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alistair. We'll go to Mike Hughes at Radio Merseyside, please.
Hi there, Rafa.
Hiya.
Did you see enough in the approach in the game against Tottenham that made you think that what we saw in the second half against Watford and what we saw in the first half against Wolves are going to be very much a thing of the past now?
Yeah, I think that if you remember, today I was talking with the players about that. If you remember the first game against Southampton, the reaction of the team was really good against Marley. So the reaction was fantastic. I think that the fans are clever and they appreciate that. They can see this team working really hard. They could see the commitment of the players. Still, we have some issues that we couldn't manage against Aston Villa for 9 minutes, against Watford for 30 minutes. We made mistakes, we conceded goals, and we didn't react. It's something that we have to improve. But I say Rome was not built in one day, no? And we need to go step by step, and hopefully we can be a little bit stronger mentally. And the best way to do that is competing and winning games. The second half against Wolves and the game against Tottenham are an example of what we have seen in another games. Brighton away, for example, was another example of team work and then the right mentality, and also you won the game. That is easier for anyone to see, but the Burnley, Southampton games that you were conceding first and after you reacted means that that is the kind of thing that we want to see, the commitment of the players until the last minute, like we did against Tottenham.
Richarlison is a fantastic footballer. The Everton fans love him. He's a different sort of striker to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So how do you go about getting the very best out of Richarlison when Dominic isn't in the team and Richarlison is asked to play a slightly different role? How do you unleash the very best of him, and how do you make him a threat against City?
Yeah, I think it's you are right. The difference between Dominic and then when we were playing Rondon or playing Richarlison up front changed also the approach of the team. So we are trying to be sure that he can be involved, but it depends how much possession you can get. So if you play against Manchester City, I don't think we'll have too much possession. So we have to be sure that if he receives the ball, will be the right passes for his ability to use his ability to make a difference. So then, as a striker, as a winger, he can be dangerous, but we need to be sure that we can provide him with good deliveries or good balls.
Fabian Delph back at the main road has already been mentioned. He's been a bit of a lost boy since he came to Everton in terms of so many injuries, and when he's been in the team, he hasn't been anywhere near the levels that we know we've seen of him in the past. But what have you seen of him recently? And I know he did well in the game against Tottenham and second half against Wolves. Do you think now he can really grasp the nettle for Everton and be a key player this time?
What I saw from here at the beginning, I think everybody knows, and he knows, that we were thinking about to replace him. But he was training really well. I was really pleased in the way that he was in every training session. And when I was quite pleased, he has the shoulder problem, and then we have to wait for 10 weeks until he was available again. So he came back, and from day one in the training sessions, he saw his commitment, his intensity, and also he's quite vocal. He's trying to help the teammates in terms of when you have to go and press, what you have to do here or there. So these kind of players with experience and quality, if you can keep them fit, then they can help the team if they have the right mentality. And he is really desperate to play. So he's someone that is can give us something with his experience and with his quality and his desire to play. He can be an example in this case for anyone. If he can stay fit, will be a good addition for us.
And at his best, he has leadership qualities as well, and that's something that the squad at the moment is short on.
Yeah, I agree. So he's someone that has the experience of winning something, and then he has this mentality that can help the young players. If he can keep this intensity for a while, I can see positive for us.
Thanks, Mike. We'll go to Carl Malcolm, please, at the Press Association.
Hi, Rafa.
Hiya.
Four of your next 6 games against City, Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea. I'm just wondering how, considering the current run you're on, how critical a period does this become now?
I think we know the Premier League is quite tough and quite difficult, but at the same time, my idea is very clear, one game at a time. So it's not the same to talk about a game in 1 month with all the players available or without them. It's not the same if you can win against Manchester City, the next game will be totally different. So I think the game is, or football in general is a little bit emotional, and then when you are not winning, it seems that everything is wrong, but it's not wrong. We have been very close in these games, in some of them, very close to win, and then we have to be sure that we keep a team that has to be competitive, and if we are like that, you never know what can happen in these games. Maybe we'll have a surprise and we can win a couple of them in a row, and then we can talk about different things in the next press conference.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Carl. Okay, that's the end of the open section. We'll now move on.